I want to share with you how traveling has changed my life for the better, and I have grown so much ever since I've decided to take that risk and start traveling the world by myself and learn so much about different countries and cultures and the history of many different places. So, first and foremost, I want to cover how once I just started traveling by myself, I realized that I did like the solitude, being alone, having my own space, not having to agree to do a list of things in a specific country. Also, having the opportunity to leave when I felt like it. So, if I didn't like the country I was in, if I didn't feel safe, or if it just wasn't what I expected it to be, I'll leave. That's just how I travel. I don't think it's worth me being in misery or just being in a place where I'm not happy. I always go. It could be expensive doing that, but for me, happiness is a huge part of my life, and I will never do anything to alter that. And another thing I want to add is when you travel by yourself, you change a lot. You change completely. Now, when I talk about change, I'm basically talking about how you see life from a different perspective. Your mindset changes, your character changes. So if you have an open mindset, you go on educational walking tours, you go to different museums, you learn more about the culture and the history of certain countries, you really begin to change. And the most important thing that I've noticed about myself is I'm a lot more confident than I was before. I was a very shy and quiet girl. I just always stuck to myself. I was never myself when I was around people. Sometimes I just always felt like I didn't fit in, and I always wanted people to like me. I was just a really shy person, and I just was, I didn't know how to really make friends growing up. I was so shy and quiet. I was always the good girl because I wanted people to like me. But as I gotten older, I realized me forcing myself to be something that I'm not is only hurting me. If we have to realize that as human beings, we're not for everybody. Not everyone is gonna like us or enjoy us or want to be around us. And I have to learn to accept that. So, being able to have the privilege, the blessing, and the honor of seeing the world is a huge opportunity that I would never take for granted. As I traveled so much to many different countries, being in South Africa, going to Morocco, going back to my home country, Mali. I've been to Senegal, France, UK, Portugal, Italy, Sweden, oh my God, Thailand, Bali, Abu Dhabi, Colombia, Mexico. All of these countries I've been to alone. Besides Italy, that was a girls' trip. But taking that chance of being in a foreign land, you just see life from a different perspective. That first trip I took by myself, officially not knowing anybody, you know, planning my accommodations, finding places to eat, making sure certain neighborhoods are safe, asking strangers questions about where I can go or where I can find this and that. You are constantly outside of your comfort zone. You are constantly doing things that make you uncomfortable. You're in a foreign land. And when you're there, you don't even realize that you're doing the uncomfortable over and over again. But I think once you do it, it's going to change you forever. I know I've changed. And when you change as a person, sometimes when you go back home and you see friends and family, you realize there might not be a connection any longer. with them. And what I mean by connection is sometimes because you grow so much, because you become different and your mindset is different, you have a global mindset, your character is different. You're not interested in what you used to be in the past before you traveled. It's such an amazing experience. And I feel so blessed and honored because a lot of people around the world can't do what I'm doing. Many people can't. And I know that it could be hard depending on the type of passport that they have. Maybe it could be financial situation, maybe commitments at home, whatever the case may be. But once you travel, it's going to change your life for the better. You become more humble. Your attitude will change. Your mind will change. And I guarantee you, the people that you surround yourself with will be different. You'll start to look for people like you, people who travel, people that you can have a connection with, that you can talk to about, different countries, different cities, all those cool things, you know? And I feel like it just take your time before you do it. Educate yourself. That's what I did. Before I took that leap, I educated myself. I used YouTube. I was just online reading different blogs. I wasn't really on TikTok in the beginning before I decided to do this, but I just kept educating myself. I went on meetup groups. I asked friends and family that traveled before me, but I asked people who traveled alone because I never experienced that. And I thought, hey, why not? Life's too short. You can't always depend on others or wait on others because then you'll never get the chance to do what you want to do. It's such a life rewarding experience, and I highly recommend anyone do it. But I always stress the most important thing first. Educate yourself. Take your time and educate yourself. Two, do your research. You understand? I know that's similar to education, but you want to make sure that the country you plan to visit is safe. You know, it's maybe walkable. I like to walk, it's good for your body. And there's just a lot of activities to do. Anything that you find interesting, you look into those places and you educate yourself and do some research on that. And what I can't stress enough is making sure that you are safe. Always, always, always check in with a family or a friend. If you got to share your location with loved ones, do that, and just make sure that you don't look like a tourist. But that's a different situation that I will talk about. And just live life. If you have the time to do it, live life. Some people take sabbaticals. Some people take a leave of absence from work. Or if you just want to try something different or take a break from life, whatever the case may be, you got to do it. You only got one life, Some people are just saying, life is too short. But I do think life is short, but it's also long because we don't know how long we have here on the planet. So remember, educate yourself. Ask people who have done what you want to do, because they won't be envious of you. They won't hate on you, and they won't talk you out of it. They'll help you prepare. I hope this was helpful, and remember, you only got one life. Live it by any means necessary.